Hello everybody, it's good to see you again. So we are again continuing with the same topic, Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Last class we described about its principle and its background regarding the terminologies used in this equation and how does that bring out into Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Today we are going to derive that equation regarding the specific conditions involved in buffers. So with the continuation of the previous class, so last class we have mentioned three important principles behind this Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. The first thing is the relationship between pH and pKa. I think I can just roll down those things. So relationship between pH and pKa, and the second one, buffering action of a mixture of weak acid with its conjugate base. So I explained what I meant by buffers and the terminologies involved in buffers, weak acid as well as conjugate base, explaining you about this Lowry-Bronsted theory. And the third one is pKa. Yes, we have specifically mentioned what you meant by pKa and how does it relate with weak acid or weak base. And the fourth one, last, we have summarized the titration curve. So what is its shape and how does it relate to pKa and how does it apply for our pH. So these are the things that are involved in Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Now we are going to derive that equation. So explaining all these terminologies, we are going to step into directly into the equation. Now we will get a complete idea. After that, we will somehow give you one or two points about their discover as Henderson-Hasselbalch, how they have involved in this equation derivation, and later on we will move on to specific conditions relating to this equation. Under what conditions this pKa might change and what does it relate to if there are alterations in the equations. So we are going to substitute conditions and see how that it relates to biological systems. Thereon we are moving into applications of this Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. The application is nothing but buffers. So we will step on to the next topic, buffers. And in buffers, we will speak about some biological systems associated with the buffers. The three main systems actually. So if possible, we will start here and explain in the next class, or otherwise we can switch into the detailed process of buffers. So let me now start to derive the equations step by step. Okay. So Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So regarding the steps involved in this derivation, there are actually 5 steps involved. So these 5 steps could give you a better idea of how to derive the equation step by step manner. Otherwise, as it is, if I write down the whole derivations, it doesn't make you sense. So I will write down each step by step. I will not tell all those 5 steps at the moment itself. So it will tell you, if I tell you step by step, you can grab that, okay, after this step it will come like this, something like that. So regarding the first step, first of all we have to derive from that standard form. Which is the standard form? So this is the standard form. Ka equal to H plus concentration of protons and conjugate base divided by its weak acid. Okay, so this will again write it down here. So this is nothing but what do you mean by Ka? First we will write down what it is Ka. So acid ionization constant. Acid ionization constant. This is written in the form of Ka. So this equates to, what does it equate to? H plus, I have to change the pen. H plus concentration of protons, concentration of conjugate base divided by concentration of weak acid. So this will tell you the law of mass action of dissociation of weak acid in terms of this acid ionization constant. Why we are calling this acid ionization? Because this constant is directly proportional to the number of protons involved, which is nothing but acid. From here we'll step into the first step. The first step is called first step. What you are going to do? We are going to rearrange the equation in terms of these protons. We will concentrate about these protons. So we will reshuffle all these things. So that becomes so. What is the first step? Rearrange Ka equation. To solve for protons. Concentration of protons. It is given by, so how it is going to change? So H plus concentration of protons in an acid is given by, so this comes here and this goes to here, Ka, then the same thing. As it is shuffled here, you think what happened? So if these are in the same places, but what I am doing, so I am equating from this side. If I am equating from this side, so this one goes to denominator and this one goes to numerator. I think you are getting the point. So that will change into, so let me write it with a different pen for your easy understanding. Ha minus, no, Ha, so it is Ha only. Okay, because it is weak acid, right? Ha divided by its conjugate base. Now this is the first step. Next, second step. What do you mean by second step? Second step, we have to convert in terms of logarithmic function, because we are going to find out the power of this Ka. So we will convert into logarithmic functions. Convert to logarithmic functions. Okay. Now, how to write it in terms of logarithmic functions? Just recall those principles which I have used for pH definition. I have told you some basics, right? The same thing applies here also. So it's for hydrogen ion concentration, the log applies as it is, log H plus convert to logarithmic functions. So the second step is H plus, so log H plus concentration of protons in logarithmic form equal to log acid ionization constant. Now this product is converted into, if you are converting into logarithmic function, then it would becomes addition, then again log. These things I have explained in the derivation of pH itself. So what happened in this step? I have simply applied log here. So if I apply log here, actually this steps, this step and this step, how it is changed. So I have log Ka Ha A minus. Okay, the whole log of Ka and Ha. Now we are going to apply this log for Ka as well as for this conjugate base and weak acid. Then this becomes, here it is multiplication. Then if you apply log individually, it converts into addition. That is the second step. Now third step. What is the third step? We have to convert it into negative logarithmic function. So what is the function of applying this negative logarithmic here? Because we are going to find the relationship between hydrogen ion concentration and this acid ionization. Which are in the is, if you apply negative logarithmic, it will show which one is increasing and which one is decreasing. That's what we found it in pH also. If the hydrogen ion concentration is increasing, then the pH is decreasing. So same thing applies here also. That's why we are applying negative. So make the expression this expression. Make the expression step 2. Make the expression of step 2 in negative. Make the expression negative, or you simply can say it's to multiply by minus 1. So you multiply by minus 1, simple. Okay. Now what happens to this equation? So minus log H plus equal to minus log Ka minus log Ha, that is weak acid by concentration of conjugate base. Again I am replying all these terms, concentration of, because it should stick onto your mind as it is. Just don't read it as bracket Ha, something like that. Okay, then only you can recall this derivation step by step from my audio itself. That will stick onto your mind. Next, fourth step. So simply we have applied a minus 1 to all these terms. So nothing more to explain here. Simple. Now comes the fourth step. So this is a simple equation. See, only 5 steps, and these steps are also very simple only. It's not a kind of a complex mathematical derivation. Now fourth step. What is the fourth step? I think you can see this minus log of hydrogen ion concentration, which actually what it is? It is nothing but pH. So we are going to substitute those related terms in terms of these things. So I will explain after writing that. So what we are going to do in this step? We are going to substitute pH for this minus log pH, like minus log H plus. Okay, so in terms of this minus log H plus, we are going to apply pH. And what you are going to apply? Last class about explaining those term pKa, I have told this minus log Ka will change in terms of pKa. I think I will show it there, because you can recap that last class. See, I have written here pKa equal to, I told I have to convert this Ka in terms of power of Ka. If you convert this power of Ka by applying the same rule in pH minus log, we will obtain this minus log Ka. That same thing only we are seeing that when you convert this thing, you see here minus log Ka is coming. So instead of this minus log acid ionization constant, we are simply writing it as pKa. That's what we are explaining here. So, and pKa for minus log Ka. Okay, now what happens to this equation? Simple. This is the most important topic in your first unit. So that's why I have explaining it in fine detail and presenting it in a nice manner also. As far as I am concerned, this is my finest thing. I don't know what do you think of my writing. pH equal to, simply minus log is equal to pH, and minus log K is equal to pKa minus log of conjugate acid by weak acid by concentration of conjugate base. So this is the fourth step. Okay, now I think more probably you have obtained the equation, but we can convert this minus in terms of plus. Okay, we are now just going to know that if you convert this minus into plus, we will know what happens if you. So this is what, this is conjugate base and this is acid. Normally, experimentally, what we will do, this is weak acid, it is already present in the solution. In that, the only conjugate base is present. So something you call this, it should be this over this, not this over this. So how to change that? If you change this minus, this numerator will become denominator and denominator will become numerator. And it experimentally gives you a concept. That's what we are going to do in the fifth step. So fifth step, so what you are doing, to remove the minus sign, invert the last term, okay, that is, what is that? This minus log of HA minus, invert this last term, this one, to obtain, what will you obtain? To obtain Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, HH equation. So that is the final form of equation we are going to obtain. We will see how does it happen. So again, pH equal to pKa plus log of A minus, that is conjugate base, I think I have to adapt for this digital writing. It will take me some another few more classes, then only I can come into the form. Now this is the final form of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Okay, this is the log of, so pH is the pH of a solution is equal to acid ionization constant power of Ka, acid ionization pKa, plus what, log of conjugate base concentration divided by weak acid concentration in the solution. Now, so it will be, now we're going to specify those conditions. Actually, now this is the final form of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. That's it. So these are the 5 steps. In an exam, if they are asking for 5 marks, you can simply write down these 5 steps. That's it. It is applicable for 5 marks. But if they are asking for 10 marks, and then you have to note down all these principles, whatever explained in the last class, and then you will switch on to this equation, or you will simply explain this equation and explain those conditions involved in this equation. Okay, so that's it. Now this is the final form of equation. Now this one can be also written in terms of theoretically as I'm searching for a nice pen. So pH equal to pKa plus log of this can be told as proton acceptor concentration. Now if you remember this Lowry concept, we are explaining this only. Instead of conjugate base, I am writing the original term proton acceptor. This will accept the proton, that is called proton acceptor divided by proton donor. That's it. In order to know these terms, we are writing down this equation as like this, not as weak acid or conjugate base. We are writing this as proton acceptor concentration divided by proton donor concentration. That only determines the buffering action of this pKa in this solution. Okay, so for example, if you take histidine, this one is histidine, which is explained in the last class, and this is the blood. Okay, now the proton donor concentration. Okay, this histidine, if it is capable of proton donor and proton acceptor concentration, if they are equal, now this will give you the buffering action over this. Okay, blood, the buffering action. So that is what HH equation tells you. Okay, depending on the concentration of proton donor or proton acceptor, that will determine the buffering action of a given buffer over the dissolved solution in order to maintain the pH. So this equation will fit the titration curve explained in the last class. Okay. So explaining with this titration curve as explained in the last class. Now this is the picture taken from your biochemistry by J.L. Jain book. Okay. So this is the titration curve and this is the segmental curve. But here they have inverted. In last class from my drawing I have told you that pH is in the x-axis and this one is in the y-axis. Now this picture is just inverted. So this S shape will be like this. In this picture, if you recall, I told you that at this point in the curve of the middle point of the curve, it is this place is called, what is it called? So this place is called equivalence point. Okay, this one is called equivalence point. And below this and after this I have told, so at this equivalence point it will be pH is equal to pKa. Okay, pH equal to pKa. And below this equivalence point I have told the certain conditions. Let me write it down in this right side. So there are three conditions. Okay, regarding this titration curve that is explained by this Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. The first one is if pH is less than pKa. So pH less than pKa, and the second condition pH greater than pKa, and third condition pH equal to pKa. So what will happen in these three conditions? In the first condition, so pH is less than pKa means under this condition this is protonated. Why it is like that? So I told you that pKa would be, it is for weak acid, right? So it is for weak acid. So if you are if the pKa is weaker than this weak acid, the value is lesser than this weak acid, that it means stronger acid, more protons are present, that is what we call protonated. But if this pH is more than the pKa, then this is called deprotonated. The protons are removed from here. So what will happen is, I will tell you. And this thing is the buffer zone, that is the equivalence point zone, that is the buffer zone. You can see from the picture also. Now this they have termed as buffering region, where pH is equal to pKa. Okay. Now how do we say this deprotonated? See, as pH is equal to pKa. So pKa is the value of 4.6. Now if pH is greater than this pKa, you can see from 5 it goes on to 6, 7 and it goes on to 8, 9 something. So it is deprotonated. So hydrogen ions are removed from that weak acid. So it is deprotonated. You can see this. So at this position, acetic acid concentration and its acetate concentration are equal. Where at the pKa value, where pH is equal to pKa at 4.76 pH, both these things are equal. Okay, this conjugate base and the weak acid are both equal. So what will happen here? There is a negative charge. I will come on to that. So there are equivalent present. But if the pH is keeping on increasing, okay, not decreasing, pH is keeping on increasing, what it will tend to form? So the remaining protons are also removed from this in order to, for example, if it is dissolved in water, water tends to remove this H plus because water doesn't have enough protons, so it attracts these protons and it deprotonates it. So if it is being deprotonated, the concentration of conjugate base is increasing. So conjugate base now increasing towards here. Now this one is going to decrease. So this way, if this is increasing, what will happen? Now basic pH will be attained because it is conjugate base. Okay, that's what we explained in the this one also. So here you can see Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. This is the proton acceptor. If the proton acceptor concentration is increasing, the proton acceptor concentration is decreasing. This is the proton acceptor, sorry, this is the proton donor and this is the proton acceptor. Okay, now this concentration is decreasing and this concentration is increasing. Now this concentration is decreasing. Now what will happen? pH is greater than the pKa. pH is greater than the pKa. Okay, now this one is higher, numerator value is higher, denominator value is lower, 1 by like 0.5 or something. If it is 1 by 0.5 means it will become 2. Now numerator is higher, pH is greater than pKa. pKa will be 1, something like that. Okay, you are getting the point right. Now in the conditions, if the pH is low means this numerator proton acceptor it will be 0.5 something like that, and the denominator will be higher. Now what will happen? Now 1 by 2 will be 0.5 by 1 means 1 by 2. 1 by 2 means it becomes 0.5. Okay. Now nothing but pKa plus 0.5. It will be still decreasing. So here the pH is less than pKa. pKa value will be 1 and this becomes 0.5. Okay. Now this is how these values are changing and changing the course of the buffering action. Now in order to explain this practically, now relating to this weak acid, I will tell you. Now consider weak acid structure. Okay. So this acetic acid structure, what is the acetic acid structure? We will just concentrate on the acid part because the acid part is only involved in this buffering action. So CH3COOH, right? Originally acetic acid formula is CH3COOH, but we are concentrating only the acid part. So acid part means COOH. That can be structurally written as, so O, this one OO, the OO, and the H part I will write it with a different color in order to show. This one is the acid part of this acid. Acid part of this acid means this is the proton donor or acceptor. Okay, now what we will do? So depending on the pH, there is a reversible reaction or reversible reaction takes place. Depending on the pH environment, what it will do. So protons may be, so if the pH is increasing, what will happen? This H will be dissociated, H plus will be dissociated, and this will react with any other solvent, water or something. So it is dissociated, and what is this component will become? This component will become this part will become electron rich. Okay, now this is the conjugate base. This is how, if the pH is increasing, this will happen. Now in the same way, if this is reversible reaction means again if this goes into pH decreasing. Now this is what happening in acetic acid. So this is acid, acetic acid. If you write down Ca3 here, and if you write down Ca3, this is what it is, acetate. So H plus plus. So this is getting away. Okay. Now, what is the pKa value of acetic acid? I told you in the last class. The pKa value is 4.8, which means at this pH it acts as a buffer. That's it. So at this pH 4.8 it acts as a buffer. That is what we term it as pKa. Okay. Now what will happen if it is increasing or decreasing? I told right 3 conditions. Now we will see that. For example, if you consider the pH is 2 now, I told you that if it is pH, I told that in equivalence point, if the pH and pKa are the same values, 4.8 means then it will form a buffer. Now I am telling the first condition that pH equal to 2. Now what will happen? Now this OH, originally you can see under pKa value, what is the sign that is bearing here? So what is the sign that is here present? Minus sign. Then this is negatively charged. Okay. At the pKa 4.8, the weakest acid pH, weak acid pH 4.8, this bears a negative sign. So it is a negatively charged acetate at pH 4.8. Now it is pH 2. What will happen? What will happen at this pH? Now O pH is added over here because the pH is very less. Very less means more protons are here. So more protons will be attracted by this proton acceptor. Now what is the charge here? There is no charge. Okay, so we will write the charge in terms of value of what we will return, Q. Q equal to 0. Now Q here is equal to minus 1 in at pKa value. Now this is the condition, pH less than pKa. Okay, now see, the value becomes 0. Now if it becomes pH is equal to 8. pH is equal to 8. What will happen now? What will happen now this becomes increasingly deprotonated. Minus, and here this one. Now before telling this, I need to tell you some other thing. Now this is 4.8, consider this equivalent to pKa value. Okay, now what happens at this point? I told before that it bears a negative charge. So negative charge means, now I can say this is negative charge, but how much negative means it is minus 1 by 2, because at this pH what happens? I told you in the before here, acetate and acetic acid both are equal, right? At pKa, acetic acid and acetate are equal. Here we can see acetic acid. So acetic acid and acetate are equal. Now this is negative charge. Okay, nobody can avoid this. But this is positive charge, right? Now half of that elements are present in negative charge and half of the elements are in positive charge. That's what I have written. Okay, so it is something minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2 in the sense, the half of the, so totally 2 parts. What are the 2 parts? Acetate and acetic acid. Among this, one part is negative, that is minus 1 by 2. Okay, that's what I here represented. We could not say this is a negative, what do you say? Normally students used to assume this is negative and this is positive. Both will cancel each other and the charge will be 0, something like that. That is not the case for here. If there are any positive ions are present here and negative here, then only you can say it is neutralized. Example, amino acid. In amino acid, what is the general formula for amino acid? Or CCO minus, here NH2 plus H. Here positive sign is present, negative sign is present in the same element. Then when you say it is 0. But I am here saying it is separate entity, this is separate entity. Here negative charge is separately there and positive charge is separately in another acetic acid it is present. So we have to calculate charge and then add. So you have to take all these minuses and plus, and here it will be roughly around minus half. That's what. So it is partially negative at pKa. This will change for each and every element. We will see in amino acids also. This will change for each and every element. I am telling for acetic acid only, at pKa value it will be minus half. Now we are going to see the most basic pH. First of all, we have seen at acidic pH, and second we have seen at pKa value, and third we are seeing at basic pH. Now what will happen? Here I have told half of this would be in this form like acid and half of this will be acetate. But here all will mostly more than 90% of it would change into negative. Now the charge behaves minus 1 because acetic acid, all these H plus ions are increasingly removed as the pH is keeping on increasing. So the minus negative charges from half this minus 0.5, it is increasing to minus 0.6, 0.7 and comes to minus 1 at pH 8. Now these are the conditions that are telling. Now what does this imply? So okay, now and this condition it will not give you the buffering action. Under this condition, it will not give you the buffering action. And it's at pH is equal to 4.8. If it is pH 4.8, it will perform its buffer action. Okay, something like histidine also. For histidine, I told you its buffer action is around pH 6.8. okay, and for blood it is pH is 7.4. okay, and it closely resembles. Now this is the pKa value. Okay, you could not take acetic acid and add it to blood here. That will not perform here because the pH is more than the pKa value of acetic acid. What will happen? It will increase the pH. It will increase the pH in the sense the acetic acid H plus ions will be removed and added to blood. Then this blood pH will be decreasing because H plus ions are removed from acetic acid and added into the blood. So if H plus ions are increasing, now the 7.4 it will become something like 6 or something if you consider that. Now this will become acidic blood. Acidic blood, our oxygen transport will not efficiently occur because oxygen and ions in the blood, in the hemoglobin also trapped by this acetic acid. If you can go on thinking like this visualization, then only you will stick onto the mind the concept of pKa and this androstenedione acid bag. Practically you will get onto the idea of experimentally know that. Now these are the things that are involved in the pKa in the form of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. That's it. Okay, I think you got the point. Now what is this Henderson-Hasselbalch? To conclude, I have to say, at least now I have to say them because they are the bearers of this equation. I have explained all the equation part, but I have not mentioned about their role, right? So let me tell about their role now. This fellow, so this scientist is Henderson. Okay, his full name is Lawrence Joseph Henderson. Okay, and this fellow is called Albert Hasselbalch. They were the pioneers who were involved in this equation. So what does they do? This scientist Lawrence Joseph Henderson, he wrote this equation initially in 1908. 1908 he wrote this equation. He applied this equation for the use of, in order to describe the role of use of carbonic acid. Carbonic acid as a buffer. We are going to see what carbonic acid in buffer systems as a buffer. Carbonic acid we know bicarbonate electrolyte H2CO3. So H2CO3 is carbonic acid. Okay. So how this applies as a buffer in blood or in related systems, in living systems. For this, he utilized that Henderson equation in 1908. Later, what Carl Albert Hasselbalch do is he re-expressed this formula, that pKa formula. He re-expressed it. So re-expressed it in logarithmic terms. So he only converted in term of log terms. Okay, that is the role played by Hasselbalch. Okay, so that only formed Henderson-Hasselbalch HH equation. So he is the initial person to find out that equation. That's why first name is given to him, Henderson. Later he converted this equation in terms of log so that it can be applied to many other things. For example, this Hasselbalch, after Hasselbalch found out this logarithmic terms, then this formula, that pKh is equal to pKa formula, now it is being used to study in medical field. It is the most relevant formula in order to study the metabolic acidosis. We will somehow this one is just up for application, and I will tell you what I mean by metabolic acidosis in buffers. Okay, so metabolic acidosis, the increase of acidic condition in metabolic pathways, what it will result into. In order to in order to cure this metabolic acidosis in medical field, they are applying this HH equation. Now I am telling you this current use of application, not in 1900 something like that. So now also, if you search for Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, metabolic acidosis, you will get a lot of tutorial notes from medical universities and medical notes. You will get a lot of notes. This is the important equation for medical students also. Okay, so this is as a whole what I mean by Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So these two classes will give you a fine overview of fine picture of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, and I think you could never could confuse yourself for describing this equation. If at all, if there are anything you have to know about this equation, just comment below this video so that I can help you out whatever you have doubts regarding regarding this equation. Okay, thank you.